Welcome back to Music and Mind, the interview series where I, Adam Ficek, speak with leading musicians about the intersection of music and mental health. Today, I'm joined by Danny McNamara. Hi, Danny.
So welcome to Music and Mind. What are you up to musically right now?
I'm just in the middle of a speaking tour about my 30 years in Embrace, and it's been absolutely amazing. Like, I've been all over. I've been to Scotland and some really small places that are there's a venue in a warehouse in the middle of an industrial complex, and it's like this little haven in the middle of nowhere. It's just absolutely amazing, and meeting loads of crazy Embrace fans. It's been great, and selling them my book, which actually the reason I'm a little bit out of breath is they just delivered a new load of them because it's going really well.
Great.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and then working on album 9. Drummers just before I came on the phone to you, the drummers just literally sent me some drums he's been doing to one of my demos. So yeah, it's all go. We've just finished a national tour with the band, which is possibly the best one we've ever done. It feels like maybe there's some sort of renaissance with Embrace at the moment, because The Good Will Out was sort of culturally probably our biggest album, but Out of Nothing, which is our 4th album, was actually our biggest. It sold more than all the other albums put together, but we still didn't expect the anniversary of that to be our biggest tour, and it sold even better and was even bigger, and the crowds were even more up for it, and yeah, it's just been amazing.
What do you think it is about over time, and now in particular, people are just really, really wanting it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really glad they do, though. It's like if you stick to your guns long enough, people come back round.
I get it.
There's something about that, if you don't go chasing after it, and you just stay where you are and just do what you do as the best you can and just burn as brightly as you possibly can. It's that's the thing I always used to take from Bill Hicks, was he would never chase after anybody else's light. He always would just, what he said was that he just wanted to just stand there and beam as brightly as he could, and then people would be attracted to him. And I've always sort of taken that philosophy, just be as the best you can be, and don't chase it, and then hopefully people will come to you.
Yeah. And I think there's also a real need for people to kind of connect and be involved with real music now. From what I've seen digitally, everyone was thrown online during COVID, and this sense of just being in a crowd and all being on the same tip.
Yeah, exactly. And also, it's we're starting to get a younger audience again. I don't know whether that's something to do with Gavin and Stacey or FIFA or what, but yeah, it's pretty exciting as a 53-year-old man to still, be in the mix.
Yeah, amazing. What do you prefer most? Because I guess you're talking about their recording stuff, going out on this talking tour, and then playing live. What's the best part of that?
I've really loved this talking tour. It's weird. I've never done it before, and I didn't know what to expect. So I was a bit, maybe apprehensive at the beginning. But there's so much love in the room, Instead, obviously, when we play with Embrace, there's thousands there, and when I talk, there might be between sort of 50 and 150 people, depending on where I am. So it's much more intimate. But I'm actually getting to meet the people who really love the band one-on-one and chat to them and stuff afterwards. And it's people who've wanted to meet me for 30 years, it's pretty intense, but it's great. And then actually getting a song is like the thing that makes me feel like worthwhile, like I've got a purpose. That moment when you get something and you think, but that is such it's like so nebulous and difficult to sort of pin down. Like, I can be like days and weeks and not get anything, and then suddenly you get something and you go, "Oh, that's how you do it." Yeah, I can do it again now, and then it goes again. And you're like, "Oh, I thought I'd sussed it." And then playing with the band, because like we've been together for, be our 30-year anniversary. Wow. Not next year, but the year after. We just know each other so well. We've been exactly the same lineup all that time. So there's no lingering resentments or politics or any of that infighting or factions or any of that. Because me and Eric are brothers, and so basically, if we agree on something, then usually it happens, and we just get on so well, and we're like a sort of a jigsaw puzzle. When all 5 of us are there, it's great, and whenever one of us is missing, you really feel whoever it is that's missing. I mean, you must know that being in a band as well.
Yeah.
But just been on tour, it's been absolutely amazing. Like, I'll show you this picture. It's not going to come across on your podcast, but there's a picture of us all. I'll describe it so you do get on podcast. But basically, we're on the back of the tour bus, and we're just like all drunk. It's the end of the tour, and we're like,
yeah, that sums it up.
And it's just, we're men in our 50s behaving like teenagers and getting away with it. What's not to love,
Yeah. No, I hear you. Do you find it, do you feel more vulnerable when you're doing the talking stuff? Because I guess you've got no music behind you. You're just kind of talking. What's that like for you?
I sort of, before we did it, I was a little bit worried about it. Like I said, it was a bit apprehensive. But as soon as I started doing it, it's immediately obvious that everybody was just there to see me, and because they love what we do, and so I just immediately felt really welcome and really safe. And so no, I wasn't nervous. Like, after the first sort of 5 minutes of the first night, from then on, I was like, oh no, this is great. I love this. This is amazing. Why haven't I done this before?
Yeah. Great stuff. And what about kind of band-wise, do you find, is there kind of nerves or stuff that go on for you there? Or have you, over the years, you got better at it?
I definitely really used to get nervous. I remember when we supported David Bowie at Glastonbury, we were the second to the headliner on the main stage, and Happy Mondays were on before us. And Happy Mondays, when they're good, are like one of the best bands on the planet. Like, Shaun Ryder is just untouchable when he's in the zone. But fortunately, that night they really stopped. So I was like so relieved, because I was like, how the hell are we going to follow the Happy Mondays? Fortunately, they were having an off day, and so I was like, that sort of helped a little bit. But I was absolutely terrified, like going in front of that enormous, like 80,000 people or whatever it was. And then the Radio 1 audience and the BBC 1 audience and just the whole thing. And then you're just there with a microphone. So yeah, that was very difficult. But now I'm like, I sort of feel a little bit like a comedian who's really knows his way around the set. And he's like, when they say, like, with a comedian, they'll tour and tour and tour and tour. And sort of by the end, they feel like they're ready to do a special or whatever, because they've tested every moment of it in front of every crowd. And I feel like that. Having done 30 years in Embrace now, is really bulletproof. It's like, I know that however they're feeling at the beginning, they're going to feel this by the time we've done what we do at the end. It's sort of kind of constructed that way. And so, yeah, I just feel really confident going on now. And I felt that way for quite a few years now. But I
Yeah,
didn't in the beginning. In the beginning, it was much more, touch and go, whether it would go well or not.
yeah.
Now it's like, it's much more robust.
Yeah, I often wonder also whether there's an age thing related to that. As you kind of get older, you tend to care less anyway.
It's not caring less. It's because I think, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, as you get older, there's the other priorities come into being, and like, obviously, we were talking before we came on air about having kids and stuff, and I've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they've
Wow.
definitely sort of, become a massive part of my outlook on everything. They're number one. But I think the sort of the part of your personality that mellows or whatever, I don't think I've developed that. I think that's a sort of that element of my personality is stunted at birth, really. Like it's like immature, that element of me. I still really feel like a teenager who's got a lot to say, and um uh, uh, I think probably because of my sort of mental health journey, if you like, I'm unusually young for my age in a lot of ways.
Mm.
Um, Obviously, also wise beyond my years in others, but um, yeah, I'm quite idealistic still, and still feel like I've got a lot to say, and I definitely haven't mellowed. Um, I am nicer to be around now than I used to be because I've got
Yeah,
more patience.
yeah,
I think, when you have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and just leaving the house is like it's like God, it's like a rigmarole. Put your shoes on, for God's sake. Um, and then they won't put the shoes on, so you go, right, we're going, and then you leave, pretend to leave the house and get in the car, and they don't follow you, so you go back in, and then they've taken the rest of their clothes off. It's like, what? So
yeah,
that's like, so that you develop, because of that, you develop like the sort of patience muscle, because you have to be patient. It's like needs must. But then that patience muscle that you've got, you can then apply, and I do apply to everything in my life, including myself. Um, and it's like a gift, really, that I'm more patient with myself now than I used to be as a result of my kids. But definitely not mellow. Definitely
yeah,
not. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or maybe,
anybody who knows me mellow is a word that you would not describe. You would go unmellow.
the opposite.
Yeah, yeah. I'm quite obsessive as a character and quite intense.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah, not mellow.
How did you get into it? What was your kind of first foray into music, and what was that like for you?
Um, Elvis Presley died when I was 6, and he was on the TV a lot, and I just thought he was really cool, and I wanted to be him. And my grandma bought me a fake leather jacket, and I used to walk around pretending to be either Elvis or the Fonz. Both of those I thought were equally as cool. Um, and yeah, that never really left me. Um, and then sort of in my teens, Richard started playing guitar, and he used to be in various like hardcore heavy metal punk bands, and I used to go down to the storeroom in the back of our garden where they used to rehearse, and just used to make them cups of tea and boss everyone around. And eventually, everybody got sick of being bossed around, apart from our Rick. So it was just me and our Rick, and Brace were born, and it sort of went from there.
Yeah, was it important for you, kind of identity wise? I think being a teenager is hard, and some people find through the music and the bands and performing, it's really helpful.
There was definitely a moment, I remember it. I was at this party, and I really fancied this girl, and she was more interested in this guy in the year below than she was in me. And I just thought, this is a fucking rat race. I don't want any part of this. I'm going to pick up a guitar, become a rock star, and then people will come to me, and I won't be part of this crap. Yeah, pretty much that.
The rest
Sort
is
of
history.
the teenage desire to be desired and to get laid, really. That sort of was definitely a massive impetus when we started out. It's like, and then, you get all these highfalutin ambitions and ideas, and it becomes more an artistic or spiritual or, whatever affair. But I think the drive underneath it was, I think it is for a lot of men. I think the drive underneath it was desire to not have to be in that rat race. Whether it's because you don't want a 9 to 5 job, or whether it's because you don't want to be one of 100 guys chasing the same woman. You want to be the guy who 100 women are chasing, not one of 100 guys chasing the same. I just remember you go to a nightclub and there'd be one like woman that everyone was dancing around, and there's like 30 guys who you just think, I'm not doing this, no way.
Yeah.
Sod that.
Get a guitar instead.
It's kind of like a little bit. It's sort of like it's not a million miles away from being an incel. When I mean, it's sort of in some ways being a 15, 16-year-old boy, you are default an incel immediately, because like as a 15, 16-year-old boy, it's very rare that women are going to be interested in you. You're spotty and geeky and awkward. Maybe 14, 15, that sort of age. And so you are involuntary celibate because you definitely want it, don't you? You know what I mean? So then, you twist and turn into all sorts of things, and me sort of starting this was probably largely down to that.
Yeah. What was that journey like? So I guess initially picking it up, community, and then moving that into the industry stuff. What was that journey like?
Well, we were awful for about 8 years.
Okay.
And so we started the band when I was about 18, 19. And then between 19 and 22, I suffered with post-traumatic stress disorder, which gave me... I wasn't diagnosed at the time because it didn't really exist back then in the sort of late 80s, early 90s. But I have come to learn that I had a thing called pure O. It was horrendous, the worst by far thing that I've ever been through. And, it sort of made me a little bit bomb-proof for anything now. Like, it's very hard to get me to flap. I don't really get fazed by much because compared to that, everything else just seems like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Even like, life and death stuff, weirdly, doesn't flap me. I don't get fazed by it. I'm able to be really calm and methodical and just do what needs to be done. But yeah, and we weren't very good as a band. We just sounded like all our influences, bands like Echo and the Bunnymen and U2 and The Cure and Smiths and R.E.M. and, all those bands that everybody loved back then. Joy Division. And then when I got better, sort of coming out of being ill, I wrote this song called Retread. And everything seemed to open up then. And then straight after that, I wrote like Highest Heights, How You Good People, One Big Family, My Weakness Is None of Your Business. And it just all started flooding out. All the ideas started flooding out. And, Richard was there creating these, this amazing music around it all. And really, like, about half of the first album was written in like a few months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's sort of like coming out of being in this like mental jail. Really, it felt like I was at the other side of some translucent ice, and I couldn't see clearly. Suddenly, all that melted and was lifted, and colours burned brighter, and music played in my head. I had orchestras in my head, and there was a massive fuss about us when we did our first demo, and suddenly the orchestras I was imagining we were able to afford in the studio. So
yeah.
you know, and it all happened really quick when it started happening. It's that thing in it, like where a 9 years overnight sensation, you know, it's like took ages and ages for anything to happen, and then as soon when it started happening, it happened really quickly.
Yeah, was it quite overwhelming? And of course, and then it goes from media exposure, kind of all that stuff. What was that like?
Well, I wasn't used to it, so I sort of used to no one listening and you know, saying that we were an amazing band and you should hear our stuff, and then sort of shouting from the rooftops with a megaphone at anyone who'd listen, you know. And then suddenly I've got a microphone in front of me and everybody's listening and I'm still shouting, you know. It's like I don't need to shout anymore. Everyone's listening, and that took some adjusting. And so in those early interviews, I came across as a bit maybe arrogant or overconfident or whatever, but or pretentious or whatever. But it really wasn't like that was authentically how I felt. I felt like um, we were really good, and that everybody should listen to it. I was really proud of what we were doing. I thought we were better than everything else that was around. It's like I always remember Jesus and Mary in saying that, and then also saying like, if you don't think that, what's the point in being in a band? You know, if you think there's a band out there doing what you want to do better than you're doing it, what's the reason for you being there?
Yeah.
So really, the you know, sort of in retrospect, what I should have said is we're the best at being embraced. You know, not
Yeah.
the best band, but the best at what I want to do. You know, but I guess that's not sexy, and also there was a lot of like the music press was sort of looking for context and looking for sort of cultural relevance and looking for things to write about it, and there weren't an awful lot of northern working class people running the music press back then,
Mm.
and so you're sort of treated as something other, you know, like a sort of circus sideshow, you know. And also like I think and we I think we wore it a little bit, that sort of bluff northern, you know, strong in arm, thick in head vibe.
Mm.
I think when we went down London, ironically, that element of you as a northern man comes out a little bit more because you're surrounded by people who aren't like that. So it makes you more, you know. I mean, I can be quite cerebral when I want to be,
Mm.
quite intellectual when I want to be, but um, in those early press interviews, it wasn't really ever encouraged. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. um, and yeah, so. But I don't regret any of it. I loved all that, and I think that people who love the band and love the music understood who we were as people, and understood where we were coming from, in spite of any misquoting or miscontextualizing or
Mm.
narrative nicking that the press might have done at that time. You know.
What was it like, kind of the journey of that? So I guess 30 years is a long time to continue that going.
Yeah, well, the second album did about half as well as the first album, and then the third album did about half as well again. So it sort of sank like that, and then we got dropped. So it was weird because we were playing the Royal Albert Hall, which we'd sold out the day we found out we'd got dropped. So it was like really weird. I remember before we went on thinking this might be the last gig we ever do. It was weird. And then Independiente came along, and they said that they'd wanted to sign us originally and never got the deal, but they'd sort of kept an eye on us and were like, you know, always wanted to work with us, and and then we did Out of Nothing with them, and that was our biggest ever album. It sold more than all the other albums put together, so it was a real comeback. And we had Gravity, which was written by Chris Martin and Coldplay, and Ashes. And those two songs still to this day are like our biggest sort of moments, you know. They're like the biggest, like when we play live, and they're the biggest on all the Spotify and all that. They've had the most streams and all that, and seem to be the most loved. But yeah, so that was a real like comeback. Even the enemy said it's the greatest comeback since Lazarus or something like that. So, and then the next album went to number one as well. And then I had some issues with my voice, which is sort of connected to the OCD thing I was talking about earlier. The OCD had gone from being a mental thing into my voice.
Wow.
And it's still a little bit there now. You'll hear it a little bit every now and again. But it was really bad back then. Wow. And it used to affect my singing voice and affect my ability to perform. Unfortunately, that's completely sorted now. Our gigs are great. But yeah, still speaking sometimes can be a bit tricky. And that's, one of the reasons why I did the speaking tour. Because it's like with mental health, and I know your podcast focuses a bit on that, is that if you allow it to rule you, you end up controlled by your environment, and you end up being in your bedroom on your own and not doing anything.
Yeah.
And so whenever I see an opportunity to kick back, not let it win, I go for it. Something that I find frightening, I'll be like, right, okay. So yeah, speaking tour with, a sort of kind of, I guess you could describe it as a speech impediment. That's something that you might shy away from, right? But I'm like, sign me up. And when can we do it again? And it's kind of like just not allowing the OCD to beat me. But the thing about OCD is it's you fighting yourself. And you can't beat yourself in an arm wrestle. It's like impossible. And you can't beat yourself at noughts and crosses because you know what your next move's going to be,
Yeah.
So it's a tricky one. But the cure came about through not looking at myself anymore. And ironically, reading stories to my 5-year-old daughter. I got all Mr. Man books because I used to love Mr. Man as a kid. And they've also got Little Missuses now, which they never had when I was a kid. So I read all of those like one a night, and I do all the voices. And I discovered as I was doing it, that actually, God, my voice is completely clear, and there's no issues at all. And then obviously, as soon as I realised that, I started focusing on it, and it, and the sort of demon on my shoulders going, it's going to come back, and then the angel's going, no, just let it be, just let it do it. And so over the 5 years of reading these stories to my daughter, obviously it wasn't Mr. Man to begin with, but like reading to my daughter, my voice has got better and better and better and better. And now, I mean, you might, if you listen back, be able to tell a few places where my voice is a bit breathy or whatever. But it used to really limit me, and now I'm not allowing it to limit me at all.
Yeah. It takes a lot of courage. Was there a time when you stopped doing your music thing then for a period of time?
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. After that album, so after This New Day, which was the album after Out of Nothing, I literally could hardly speak.
Wow.
Just air was coming out. It was like, and I couldn't sing for the same reason, and so we had to have a break, And then it was gradually like, right, build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up. And then when we came back with Ali's album 6, still wasn't right, but it was getting better. And it's slowly gotten better. And now, I think if you listen on the records, I'm singing better than ever, and the gigs are great. And now and again, sort of speaking at gigs between songs, it gets a bit lost.
Yeah.
If I can't hear myself or whatever. But even that on the last tour was almost completely better.
Yeah. How long was it in total that you had off then? Because that must have been a really scary time if this is all you've known.
That's about, between the 5th album and the 6th album, it's about 6 years.
Wow. It's a long time. That must have been difficult, because then who are you if you're not a singer?
Yeah. Well, I did all sorts of other stuff. Started writing more, which I'd always done. I'm a screenwriter as well now as a singer in a band. I bought a venue and started putting on gigs with bands and stuff, which did really well. and I was able all the sort of OCD obsessive like list writing elements of like organizing all the gigs and making sure everybody had everything they needed and all that was like able to plug that brain into something and use it for good, so that was good. And then we came back, and the last 3 albums that we've done have all been top 10, really successful, and the band live are just getting bigger and bigger, and we've got a new album on the horizon, so it's all looking good, really.
Yeah. Was it quite humbling stepping aside? Because I think being a frontman as well, there's a lot of expectation, and then there is those grandiose parts that you need to dig into, and then coming away from that, was it quite a humbling experience doing these different things for you?
People have always treated me like I'm a big deal. Like, I've always had that. Like, I didn't realize it because I didn't know any different. And then my wife pointed it out to me when sometimes, for instance, when we're screenwriters and I'm completely unknown as a screenwriter, I'll be dealing with somebody who doesn't know who I am and doesn't, there's no reputation that precedes me or anything like that. And I'll get treated like a normal human being and it makes me feel odd.
Okay.
It's like, I'm like, what's with their attitude? Like, why are they like, and my wife will go, this is how normal people get treated. Like, so, but yeah, most of the time I sort of get treated with like a crazy amount of deference, and it's odd, but I'm just that's normal for me. And it's very rare that anybody doesn't, I'm sort of just realizing that it's kind of weird. It's a weird way to live, but I am sort of really confident and kind of the opposite of whatever the opposite of risk averse is. I'm that, like, and quite often my wife will have like, oh my God, what are we doing? Like be scared of a decision I'm making, and she's really helped me. The last album was called How to Be a Person Like Other People, and that was really a love letter to my wife and kids and the whole marriage thing, because I have like joined the human race in a way that maybe I wasn't before, and I wasn't aware that I wasn't, because you don't know what you haven't got, you know what I mean? But then I sort of discovered that joy is this really still, small, really hard to find and easy to miss thing. And if you're a rock star in a fucking big rock and roll band, there's all these distractions that stop you from seeing it. And then when you get rid of all that and it's just you on your own with your kids or your wife or going for a walk or whatever, and you just live in the moment, it's there. And my receptors to it are fucking burnt to fuck, but my wife has sort of been able to show me. I remember the sort of the sort of first real time that happened. We were on a holiday, sat at this place that was a little bit like the Grand Canyon, but it was in Asia, and it's an amazing view. And I went there, and we were going there to look at it as the sun set. And I went there, I looked at it, and went, wow, yeah, right, we're going to get something to eat. And she was like, just sit the fuck down. Just be in this moment for 1 minute, you know what I mean? Like, and I did. I sat there for a minute, and I thought, she's going to get bored in a minute. What the fuck? And then 5 minutes go by, and the sun's starting to set, and it's looking really gorgeous. And I'm thinking, I would have missed this. And life's been like that. I've missed a lot of it because I've been too busy thinking about what's over the next hill, what's the next achievement going to be, or living on cheap thrills, I mean, I've never been one for drugs, but drink and women and partying and all that, I had more than my fair share of that, and It's sort of in a sort of immediate way, it's really fun and all consuming, but there's very little real joy in it. And joy comes, like I said, it's that tiny, still, small, you know.
Yeah, it's very different, isn't it, to the quick, spiky hedonism of being all the excesses. I guess we all know, and what that industry is known for, and I guess some people even want that. They're projecting that on you so they can live their lives vicariously through that. But I think you're right; it has a very different feeling. And do you think kids have also changed that for you, having kids?
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely. Like, they're just amazing, and they don't have to do anything. They just are amazing, and you know, it's a cliche, but I've learned so much from them. You know, I really have. And my oldest daughter, Kate, she's only 5, but just sort of the way that she sees everything and wants everything explaining and everything's so new is just it's like you're living your life all over again. You know. And my 2-year-old is far smarter than her older sister, and has everybody wrapped around her finger because she's so cute. Like, no one, you know, she knows exactly what to say. She's going to be a nightmare when she gets older. Yeah, she knows if she goes, please, just a little one, you'll definitely give her another chocolate. There's just you just can't say no to that.
It's very real, isn't it? It's very real what you're saying there, coming away from all the kind of the fluff of the industry. And I think when you've been on the inside of that curtain, you see it as you get more distance from it.
I want to write about that in my music. You know, I want to bring that in. And the last album was like an attempt to do that. And the new album that I'm working on now, and we start in earnest in February, is like, it's about the magic. Basically, I've sort of said everything's got to have something magical about it, or it doesn't make its way onto the albums. So it can be amazingly catchy. It can be, you know, really upbeat and, you know, great music, whatever. If it doesn't have something magical and hard to define about it, then it's not good enough. And so we've got 8 things so far that have got this sort of magical aspect. So yeah, I don't know what the album's going to be called yet, but that is the theme of it that seems to be emerging.
Yeah, it sounds like a really important time, and for you to kind of combine both of those factors of your life. Yeah. What about other music stuff? Like, I'm always interested in, is there particular music you go to when you feel in a particular mood, or how do you use music listening?
When we were on tour at the end of the gig and we're back on the road and you're just having a beer and you just want to chill out and watch the world go by, I've been listening to the new album really loud on the speakers on the bus. That's great. I really love there's certain songs that I will listen to if I want to be in a certain mood. Like Elvis Costello's I Want You is really good if I want to feel sorry for myself.
Yeah.
And nothing else hits the spot like that does. If I'm trying to get in touch with the sort of more heartbroken side, so like writing a song or whatever, then usually Nick Cave will do it. Like Love Letters or Into My Arms or one of those, you know. So yeah, I do use music. If I just want to stick something on my headphones and just go away, I love the last Radiohead album for that. Yeah. It's literally like possibly the best album of all time. That.
Wow.
I mean, I feel like you've got to say Sgt. Pepper or Pet Sounds or, you know, whatever, but I feel like both of those albums just fall in comparison to A Moon-Shaped Pool. I just think it's just fucking whoa.
Yeah,
just an amazing album. Like, you know, whatever you think about Radiohead and their image and, you know, whingy, whatever, hypes that you might think they are. Like, that is just peerless stuff they're doing.
Yeah. It's all nuanced,
Can't
isn't it?
argue with it. Like, if you do, it's like you just look like you don't know what you're on about.
Yeah. I can just hear how powerful music is still for you after all these years.
Yeah. It has to be that good though. Like, I don't have the radio. I never listen to the radio.
Yeah.
I can't bear to listen to stuff that's not great.
But thank you so much for your time. Is there anything you want to add?
What I've got coming up probably will be another one of these speaking tours.
Wow. Okay.
So that should be good. And I'll be plugging I've got like a lyrics book that I'm doing on that. And then I'm also going to be doing a songwriting retreat in Spain with Kyle from The View.
Yeah, Kyle.
So I love Kyle. He's like a one-off. And he asked me if I wanted to do it. And I spoke to Youth, who's a mate of mine who's done it, and he said it's great. So I thought, yeah, let's give that a go. So I'm going to be going out to Spain with my wife and kids and doing a songwriting retreat for people who want to do that. And then, working on the new album. Hopefully, and that means that 2026, the sort of 30 years of Embrace, is going to be a big year because it'll be about that and about the new album all in one. So a big year.
Thank you very much to Danny. Thanks for listening to Music and Mind with me, Adam Ficek. Make sure you check out the Tonic Music website for free groups, workshops and courses for musicians, music fans and all those in the industry.